Thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. An elderly man accused of hitting and killing a Central Valley teacher learned today he will not be staying in jail as his case moves forward. Police believe Gary Thompson was under the influence and driving home from a bar when his car hit 35-year-old Mindy Wilson as she crossed the street. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk was inside the courtroom for Thompson's first appearance.
Court documents reveal 35-year-old Mindy Wilson was on the phone with a friend the moment she was hit and killed Saturday night, crossing the intersection of East Empire and North Morton Street in Northeast Spokane.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have Gary Neil Thompson.
70-year-old Gary Thompson is charged with vehicular homicide. Police say he was behind the wheel and told officers he went to adjust his radio and heard his car smack into something. Court documents show the collision launched Mindy Wilson, a substitute teacher in the Central Valley School District, into another lane where a separate car ran over her. Wilson died at the scene. According to court docs, Thompson was on his way home from the Black Diamond Bar in Spokane Valley and told police he started drinking with friends several hours earlier, splitting 2 pitchers of beer. Thompson also told police he smoked marijuana earlier that morning. Thompson was released without bond this weekend. During his first appearance this afternoon, prosecutors asked the court to remand him into custody and set bond at $100,000.
By releasing Mr. Thompson, the state believes it sends a clear message to the community at large that these crimes are not serious and are not treated seriously at this time. Driving under the influence is a major problem, with cases and fatalities on the rise.
Thompson's attorney argued the 70-year-old should not be locked up as his case moves forward.
He's got no prior criminal history, a lot of ties to the community. This was an instance of bad vision. An older person driving at night and a pedestrian in dark clothing, according to the police report. He'll abide by all those other conditions.
Thompson walked out of the courtroom a free man for now.
And as part of his release conditions, Thompson is not allowed to have alcohol and must have interlock ignition devices or blow-and-goes installed in any of his vehicles if he plans to drive while his case moves forward. Reporting from the Spokane County Courthouse tonight, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
New tonight, the U.S. Attorney's Office announced that a Yakima man has been sentenced to 8 years in prison for distributing child pornography. New court documents show that 32-year-old Christopher Osborne used the app Kik to send the pictures and videos to an undercover Homeland Security agent. The pictures included kids being sexually assaulted. Osborne pleaded guilty. He'll also spend 15 years under supervision after release with a lifetime sex offender registration. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. Families and friends of a suspected shooter are coming to his defense tonight. They say he was protecting himself when he shot and killed another man in Airway Heights. In newly filed court documents, witnesses say what led up to that shooting. They say a group of men went to Devin Bullard's home to confront him after a group of kids said that he'd flashed a gun at them at a nearby park. 2 witnesses said during the heated conversation, Bullard grabbed a gun in his waistband like he was going to pull it out. That's when one of the men pepper sprayed Bullard and Bullard started shooting. But his attorney and family says that he was acting in self-defense.
And those men, 6 to 7 of them, came to my porch with my baby girls in that house. Nobody talks about that. That man kept them from coming into my home.
Bullard faces 3 counts of first-degree assault and 1 count of second-degree assault. He has not been charged with anything related to the victim's death, but a search warrant shows investigators are looking into this as a murder. New court documents show what led to a stabbing at Shadle Park High School last week. 1 student was hospitalized and another is in custody tonight. According to the documents, the students had planned to fight for some time. They confronted each other in the bathroom before one student stabbed another in the chest. Police arrested a 17-year-old girl for first-degree assault. There are several accounts showing videos and pictures of fights at that high school over the past year. We asked administrators about this fight culture. They said the current tone at the school is, quote, calm. The NTSB released its first report on the Alaska Airlines mid-air door panel blowout. The 19-page preliminary findings include new pictures of the plane in the Renton factory showing critical bolts were not there. It also includes a photo texted between team members and photos of the fuselage as it arrived at the factory. It's important to note this is just a preliminary report. Full investigations into crashes and other mid-air problems typically take a year or more. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Fairchild Air Force Base is spearheading a public meeting tomorrow night to talk about efforts to clean up PFAS chemical contaminants from the West Plains. The contamination is from firefighting foam used at the base. That meeting starts at 3 p.m. at the Shriners Event Center. There will also be an open house from 6 to 8 with experts available to answer questions about the ongoing cleanup process there. And 4 years after a devastating wildfire swept through the small town of Malden, residents are preparing to reopen the town's essential buildings. That includes the town's new municipal building, containing a new fire station, town hall, and post office. In 2020, the Babb Road fire destroyed more than 85% of Malden and Pine City. The ribbon-cutting ceremony is scheduled for next Thursday. All right, switching gears to talk weather. We finally saw a break in the clouds today. A little bit of sunshine even graced Spokane in the middle of the day today. But as Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Lagoud tells us, that sun might be a bit short-lived. Jeremy?
Yeah, even when it returns to the forecast in the coming days, it just doesn't really offer much. We've got a little bit of clear sky right now, but what that's doing is acting to help our temperatures drop. Notice cloud cover forms as our dew point and temperature reach each other. If I'm going to teach you anything this winter, it's that dew point and temperature play a really strong role in fog formation and cloud formation as well. But really, moisture in the atmosphere is really what we're concerned with so far this winter. And that's exactly what we've got to watch the next couple of days. We're going to wake up to a little bit more cloud cover, and that kind of just sticks around. Unfortunately, tomorrow doesn't look overly wet, and most of our moisture stays down to the south. If you're watching us from down in Lewiston, you'll likely wind up with a little bit of shower activity tomorrow with moisture push from the south. Elsewhere, it's the possibility of a stray sprinkle, and that's about it. But maybe a break in the clouds the next few days. Highs near 40, overnight lows down near freezing.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. We are tracking deadly weather in Southern California tonight. The state's facing record rains and flooding, triggering hundreds of mudslides. Officials saw the full extent of the damage for the first time today. LA has received more than half of its average annual rainfall in just 3 days. In Bel Air, more than a foot. It has made the soil vulnerable, toppling trees throughout the state. Officials responded to more than 300 mudslides. At least 3 people have died. In other national news, the D.C. Court of Appeals rejected former President Donald Trump's claims that he is immune from prosecution for his actions while in the White House. The 3-judge panel issued a scathing ruling that states no president can violate the rights of individual citizens.
They basically said that former President Trump, for present purposes, is citizen Donald Trump, and he enjoys no greater protection against criminal prosecution than any other citizen of the United States.
The former president can appeal through the U.S. Supreme Court, but officials say this will make it harder for Trump to avoid a trial ahead of the November election. And just hours ago, lawmakers rejected impeachment charges against the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. He is being blamed by Republicans for the ongoing border crisis, and tonight they signaled they may try to impeach him again. In the meantime, President Biden is pleading for Congress to pass a border security compromise. It would give the White House new powers to crack down on border crossings. The Senate is expected to hold a test vote coming up this week. The Spokane Valley Fire Department responded to a record 2,100 calls last month. Just over 1,700 of those calls were EMS related, followed by 170 building alarms and 95 car accidents. The fire chief explained why last month's cold snap is at least partially to blame.
A lot of busted pipes, so we had an increase of those calls by 132%. So it was actually the second busiest call behind our EMS calls.
Officials say the cold weather and icy conditions contributed to an increase in car accidents as well. For that full report, just head to our website. That's KREM.com.